He was in position, right? It makes sense for a brother to buy a sister a Christmas gift in our family. He's in position to do that. He was willing. He really desperately wanted to be able to do that, but the price was too high. He couldn't afford it. He didn't have the money to be able to do it. You know, some people look at this book of Ruth as an allegory, and they see the similarities, and there are tons of similarities between what Boaz does for Ruth and what Christ does for us in terms of redemption. And they look at this character, Mr. So-and-so, and they call him the equivalent of man. They say, listen, man is stuck in their sin, and they want to redeem this. If they're willing to do it, they want to be able to, but we can't afford the price. We're not perfect. We don't have perfection in us. And so we can't afford the price to pay for the redemption. And we need another kinsman to come in and pay that price, who is sinless, who is Jesus. So this guy can't afford it, or chooses not to afford it. Could this be why this man remains anonymous through all time? History does not shine favorably on his character. The exchange reveals the character difference between Boaz and Mr. So-and-so. It is Boaz who is remembered for his loving kindness. Keep reading with me, verse 7. Now, in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. That's kind of interesting, huh? He took off his sandal and gave it to another. Basically, what he was saying is, I give up my rights to the land, and by giving him the sandal, you now as the property owner have the ability to walk on it as the owner. It was kind of the closing. Could you imagine that after a house? All right, Mr. Eicham, here's your house, and there you go, there's my shoe. Get 10 people in there, and it's done like that. You don't have to sign a bunch of papers. It's kind of nice. That's the legalization of the process, by handing over the sandal. Verse 8, so the kinsman redeemer said to Boaz, buy it yourself. He removed the sandal. Basically, he signed on the dotted line. The notary is stamped because he did it in front of 10 people. He handed over the sandal, and it is now Boaz's to redeem and to claim. Now, Boaz is pretty excited at this point. I mean, think about it. This is the way the story, as you're reading it, is supposed to turn out. Boaz now has Ruth and some land because of the love story that's been developing there. So he stands up and like any great play, he makes a speech. And he stands up and he's just so excited, and this is what he says. Boaz announced, today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth, Mahlon's widow, as my wife in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from the town records. Today you are my witnesses. Now this is more than a statement of fact. This is more than a statement of triumph. This is more than a statement of, yes, she's mine. This is a legally binding statement in which he's saying, listen, to everyone here, the 10 of you that are watching, I want you to hold me accountable to this. I'm going to take care of this lady. I'm going to take care of her. I am her kinsman redeemer. I will redeem this land. I will take care. I will honor those from my family that are deceased. I will make our clan whole. I am going to do this. Hold me to it. This is a legal transaction right here, in which he's being held accountable for. Notice the amount of detail he uses in his speech. Compare it to verse 5 and what he says to the other Mr. So-and-so and how he describes it. He lists out all the people that are involved, all the people that he's going to honor in this process. This statement reveals to us again that Boaz is a man on a mission. He is a man on a mission. He's going to take care of these ladies. You think about mission. A great way to define mission is simply this: burden plus passion plus vision equals mission. Burden plus passion plus vision equals mission. You see Boaz's burden. His heart breaks for the situation that Ruth is in. He can't sleep another night until this matter is resolved. He leaves that threshing floor, goes to the gate in the morning, and makes sure that this lady is going to get taken care of. He can't rest until it's done. What's your burden? What keeps you up at night? When you look around at the world and you see different forms of injustice, what penetrates your heart? It's a burden that God's been laying on your heart. Boaz also has passion for Ruth. There is a deep love there that has been developing. It's compelled him to move on her behalf, to do something about her situation. There's a deep love and passion there. Boaz also has a vision for what he's supposed to do. He has a vision for what he's supposed to do. Vision kind of takes the sum of our abilities, the gifts God has given us, the experiences God has given us, and wraps those together to give us clarity on what to do with that burden and that passion. You think about how he has used his vision. He's in that position to be able to make a difference as kinsman redeemer. He is a businessman. He's a shrewd negotiator, and we saw him enact that in front of us. He uses the gifts and the talents and the position and the place and the resources and the finances that God has given him to make a difference. And so that burden, that passion, and that vision combine together to make him a man on a mission. He doesn't wait. He acts fast to ink the deal. Look again and see Boaz's character in this thing. He is a blessing to everybody that he comes in contact with. He's a blessing to everyone in the book. I mean, obviously Ruth and Naomi, but think of his employees. Think of the fact that he honors Mr. So-and-so by walking through the deal in the right way. The deceased that are mentioned in this book, he honors them by promising to raise up kin in their name. He is a blessing to everyone in this book that he comes in contact with. Husbands, he's a great example to us. At the core of this is a love story. He does what is necessary at great expense to himself to redeem the one that he loves. What are you willing to invest, husbands, to make sure that the one you love understands her great value and her worth? And not just expense financially, but how about time? Conversation. What are the things that communicate that great value that she has? And he makes sure that the witnesses hold him accountable to that. Then what happens from here is the elders stand up and have a little conversation, and they bless Boaz. And it's a three-part blessing. Let's look at it real quick. Verse 11. The elders and all those at the gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel." The first blessing is this: may you be fruitful. May you have kids. They mentioned Rachel first. If you remember Rachel's story, she was barren for a while. And then God allowed her to have a child. Ruth, likewise, was barren in Moab in her first marriage. And they're saying, man, may God allow her to have children. May she be fruitful. The verse continues, may you have standing and be famous in Bethlehem. The elders prayed that they would be famous in Bethlehem. God has answered this beyond probably their wildest dreams or expectations. I mean, think about it. 3,000 years later, we're sitting here in Brandon studying the character of Boaz. He is famous in history, not just in Bethlehem, because of his character. Verse 12, through the offsprings the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. This blessing is a reminder of the blessing of children. Perez is probably mentioned here because of her Levirate connection with Tamar. But these three blessings together highlight the fact that Ruth has moved to a converted sister in the faith and not just merely tolerated as a foreigner